Hi, Kim.
Good morning. I'm inviting everyone to mute their microphones. Good morning. I'm Kim Lerner, co-founder of the Institute of Jewish Knowledge and Learning, foremost student of Rabbi Akiva Mand, and proud to remember friend. This program honors Rabbi Akiva, man of blessed memory, on the second anniversary of his Yahrzeit. I carry so many memories of Rabbi Akiva leading our Jewish community. The proof is the thousands of photos that pop up on my phone continuously from 5 Israel journeys, 16 Passover Seders, 21 Hanukkah celebrations, multiple Shabbatonim, and so many special programs, and the memories that I see in everyone's faces. This program is not only about memory, it is to differentiate between memory and remembering. The Torah teaches us that God remembers. When it does, remembering is never passive. My prayer is that when we remember Rabbi Akiva, we not only live from a place of kindness, of chesed, but also from transformation from the teachings that he has given to us. One of the teachings is the parable of the tree and the branch, and that the branch of the tree doesn't ever need to be told that it is a part of the tree, that the branch already knows that it belongs to the tree. And to quote our Rebbe, don't you get that? You, human beings, don't you, the branch, understand that you are part of the tree? That you can grow in a multiplicity of ways from the tree if you realize that you are not an independent entity. But don't you know and always remember that you are part of something cosmic? So now, in honoring Rabbi Akiva of blessed memory, we continue that remembering through action and teaching. So in honor of Rabbi Akiva, we offer words of memories offered by IJKL friend Rabbi Arnie Samlan, and words of remembering from our dear and beloved friend Zohar Raviv. And I just want to welcome Rabbi Akiva's family that is here, and we hold you, family, so in our hearts. And as I would say to Rabbi Akiva, take it away, Rebbe.
Kim, thank you so much. And it is an honor and pleasure to be here with you, Kim, with you, Zohar, and with the IJKL family and community. There is a Hasidic story that's told that says that there is a Chassid who comes to his Rebbe and says, Rebbe, I had a dream that I was the Rav, I was the Rebbe of 100 Hasidim, 100 followers. And the Rebbe says to him, come back to me when 100 Hasidim have a dream that you are their Rebbe. And Rabbi Akiva would have been too humble to ever dream that he would have 100, let alone hundreds of Talmidim. And yet you are all proof that he indeed was that person where all of you who are here and hundreds of those who are not here dreamt of him and saw him as their Rebbe. In being a Rav, in being a Rebbe, the true mark of a student is not that they're able to faithfully spit back every single word that their Rebbe, their teacher, has taught, but that they have so internalized it that they can take their teacher's words, interpret it through their own eyes and ears, and have new words of Torah, new chidushim that come out because he has inspired them through his Torah. And that, I think, is really the challenge of all of us here in this room, as well as those who may not be with us here physically this morning. How do we take the teachings of this great Rav, this great man, this great teacher of Torah, make them our own, and use them to inspire us and to inspire those around us, as Kim said, both in teaching, in word, and in deed. And that really is our challenge this morning. I'd like to share with you the words of the traditional memorial prayer, the El Malay. I'll be sharing it on the screen. I won't be actually reciting it in the English, but you will have the English in front of you so you can refer to it. Um, it is a prayer that rather than inserting what sometimes is inserted, that we give tzedakah in memory of the person who was passed, which certainly we encourage you to do, and IJKL as well as other or wonderful organizations are a good place to put those investments. But we'll be reciting the words Ba'avur sha'anu mitpalelin, that we pray on behalf of his soul. So again, honored to share these traditional words of prayer with you today. El Malay Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Hamitzei Menucha Nechona Al Kanfei Ashchina B'Ma'alo Kadoshim U'Taharim Kazara Kiamasirim Et Nishmat Harav Akiva Ben Harav Menashe Dov V'Idol Shahalach Leolamo Ba'avur Sha'anachnu Mitpalenim Ba'ad Haskarat Nishmato Began Editim Menuchato, Lachain Bal Harachmim Yastarehu Beseter Knafav Liolamim, Vitzror Bitzrachaim et Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nachalato, Vianur Beshalom al Mishkavo, Venomar Amen. May the prayers that we have just shared and the learning of Torah from our colleague and our friend Zohar serve to elevate the soul of our dear Rabbi Akiva man in the world beyond. And may we all be blessed through the words of his Torah. Amen. It is my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Raviv. Dr. Zohar Raviv is an internationally respected and known Jewish educator and scholar, serving as International Vice President of Educational Strategy of Birthright Israel, a program that I have the privilege of supporting here in the Broward County area. In his work, he shapes Jewish learning for hundreds of thousands of young adults worldwide. He serves as scholar in residence for the Momentum program, guiding Jewish learning to deepen identity, purpose, and connection. We are deeply honored that he joins us as we remember Rabbi Akiva man, Zichrono Livracha, of blessed memory, through learning that we know will inspire meaning, responsibility, and action. Dr. Raviv?
Thank you very much, Rabbi Samlan, for your beautiful introduction and for your words of wisdom. You definitely set the atmosphere for Rabbi Akiva and for what he deserves, as Kim says, both in memory and in commemoration. And I would like to share, first of all, that for me, Rabbi Akiva was first and foremost a noble friend, a very, very dear friend. And since the first moment I laid eyes on him, it was obvious to me that I'm witnessing what is called in Judaism a neshama yetera, a soul of abundance, someone who many times has impressed me as a soul that belongs to another era, that does not necessarily fit the world in which we live, but echoes a deeper, broader, and wider wisdom that comes from a higher plane. It was always amazing to me to watch him soar, and then watching the pangs of delivery as he was trying to articulate what he had seen to the rest of us. And as I was kind of entertaining this image, I couldn't but think about my infatuation with the Mount Sinai story, which for me always stood as a very, very unique model for Jewish life. Because if we look at the Mount Sinai story, we see that unlike other monotheistic constitutions, where either a prophet goes to the heavens, such as in Islam, or a divinity descends to earth, such as in Christianity, the Mount Sinai model offers us a reality wherein divinity says to the human, if you ascend to meet me, I will descend to meet you. Or in other words, Mount Sinai is the rendezvous point of a semi-human, semi-divine area wherein the human meets divinity, which in turn reinstates his share of divinity to take back to humanity below. And if we understand this concept, I'd like to take us to a particular verse about Mount Sinai, namely Exodus 19:19, which states that when Moses and God met on this rendezvous point on the top of Mount Sinai, the verse now says, Moses spoke and God replied in a voice. And the rabbis immediately ask, why does the Torah say that Moses spoke and God replied in a voice, instead of just saying Moses spoke and God replied? The term in a voice seems to be either redundant or superfluous in this context. And the Midrash now explicates on this question and says something that is quite incredible. It says when the Torah says that God replied to Moses in a voice, it means that God replies to Moses using Moses' own voice. Which now begs the question of what did Moses hear? Because obviously God and Moses were not interlocked in a dialogue such as humans are, one versus the other, but rather Moses was entrapped in the most positive, intimate way in what I would call an enriched monologue, hearing his own voice calling him to fulfill the potential of being a human and then descend to earth and inform other human beings about their unfulfilled potential. In that respect, what Moses hears is his own calling from his own potential self that aims to draw him upwards even as he descends the mountain downwards. Rabbi Akiva, for me, was a little Moses. As I met him time and again, trying to negotiate between what he had realized and what he can articulate, trying to negotiate between what he had experienced and what he can express. And many a time, I saw him not only marveling at that reality, but also, truth be told, agonizing at the gap between experience and expression, looking at me in his semi-mischievous eyes and saying, Zohar, I know something, I feel it in my bones, and I pray to God every day and every night that I'm able to articulate it the way I see it. In that respect, I found in Rabbi Akiva not only a great master, but a great mensch. And that agony of coming down to earth with a sense of an enriched monologue within himself, which he had time and again tried to translate into a dialogue among humans, has become more and more challenging a reality as we live in a world that seems to absolutely forfeit the ability to dialogue, as different fractions of our society are completely obsessed with parallel monologues, where people no longer talk with one another, but at one another, where people not only brush their ideas and their preconceived assumptions against the great promise of argument, as should be, but rather further entrench themselves in their preconceived truth and find any voice of dissent to be a threat rather than a promise for growth. In many ways, our Rebbe Akiva reminded me that another great Rabbi Akiva of the Tannaic period, 2,000 years ago, who said, "Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," Zohar Torah kula, love thy neighbor as yourself, is the entire Torah, and everything else is commentary. In Rabbi Akiva's days, 2,000 years ago, that may have been the case. In our rebellious world, in many ways, we have been degraded to a reality where many people today abide by a very different dictum, and that is, love thy neighbor as long as he is as yourself. If he or she are not like you, if they don't think like you, if they don't agree with you, you want nothing to do with them. So when I look back at Rabbi Akiva's legacy, I think that one of the greatest charges that he has put before us is the human ability to find value in any other human. That is something that I saw in Rabbi Akiva as a shining beacon to all of us. He could talk to a Haredi Jew and to an atheist with the same conviction, the same passion, and the same respect by virtue of being human beings. He could find a venue for discourse where many others opted to shut the door up, because he realized that no matter what you believe in, the human soul thrives for meaning. The human soul thrives for discourse, and the human soul thrives for growth. It takes a giant to be able to identify the most minuscule yearnings of a human soul. And Rabbi Akiva, was one of those giants. So in his honor, and in his memory and commemoration, I would like to give or offer a few guidelines of what truly constitutes a dialogue in today's day and age. And in order to do that, I would quote another Jewish giant whose name you probably already heard, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who once said that a dialogue is one's ability, quote, to become dangerously involved in the life of another, end quote. And the reason Joshua Heschel says dangerously involved is because Joshua Heschel makes a very clear distinction between our ability as humans to have a cordial, polite conversation with people, even if we disagree with them, which is not a dialogue, and the ability, on the other hand, to entertain the possibility that, God forbid, the human in front of me, even if I disagree with him or her profoundly, has something of value to offer to my own life if I actually take the risk and remove myself from the zone of ideological comfort in which I conveniently nestle myself. A dialogue is an act of courage, not of politeness. A dialogue is a necessity of social cohesion, not a luxury of culture. A dialogue is the very foundation upon which we can exist as a community, not the polite exchange of confronting ideas. And in that respect, I would like to argue that in order to have a dialogue, we need to remember a number of things. Number one, a dialogue is a self-standing value. It is not contingent on agreement or consensus. It is an end in and of itself and not a means to a higher end. We should see ourselves as committed to dialoguing with others as part of our very condition as human beings. Number two, all parties to a dialogue have the same rights and the same obligations. The right to speak freely and the obligation to become a resilient listener, especially when things that are said rattle you from your zone of comfort. Number three, free speech is utterly distinct from freedom of expression. You are free to speak your mind, but you are not free to express it in manners that are derogatory, abusive, sexist, anti-Semitic, racist. In other words, we should be very careful to draw a clear line between freedom to speak my mind and the discipline and the dignity needed to articulate my mind in a manner that is respectful and empowering rather than threatening and demeaning. Number four, moral clarity. Certain things fall under the ideological camps of right versus left, but others fall under the moral domain of right versus wrong. Let us not allow political discussion to hijack moral discourse. Because at the end of the day, in order to have a true and meaningful dialogue between different ideological camps, not only on politics, on every level, we must first and foremost establish a common moral ground upon which we can entertain our non-uniformity of ideas or opinions without it threatening the unity of our value standard and basics. And last and not least, and that's truly a legacy that I learned from Rabbi Akiva, certainty is the currency of ignorance. Humility is the currency of wisdom. People who speak with exclamation points more often have absolutely nothing to teach us than those who speak with question marks. With those who come and say, I think so-and-so, what do you think? Then people who say, I know so-and-so, start thinking like I do. In that respect, Rabbi Akiva's humility was, in my opinion, the brightest candle on the menorah, which was his soul. He taught us time and again that the more wisdom he had obtained, the more humble he had become. Not because he looked at how much he knew, but because with every advancement in the ladder of wisdom, he looked up and realized that that ladder is not getting shorter, but actually getting even longer than before. And that legacy of understanding that wisdom is an infinite call for us to aspire, something that will never be fully met, something that we carry with us as an ongoing inspiration for life, is probably something that will not only live with us, but for sure remains as a legacy from Rabbi Akiva, whose life may have ended on this earth, but whose soul continues to shine through us for all eternity. Baruch Dayan Haemet.
Let me remove the spotlight. Do we have a minute for questions or comments? Do you have, remove spotlight. Thank you. And response to Judy, I will put this to YouTube if that's with your permission, Zohar, and with a transcription of those values. And I want to recognize the sons of our teacher, our friend, our leader. Would you like to offer any words to us? Sim, Ellie?
Yeah, this is Yo. Zohar, thank you for that. That was so spot on. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it.
Ellie, I see. Sim.
It's great to see everyone. It's really nice. Zohar, Rabbi Samlan, thank you so much. And like Yo said, you spot on and nailed it. But it's just beautiful to see everyone get together, and really miss some of your faces. And I look forward to seeing everyone hopefully soon. Love you guys.
And Ari, did you? Hi, Ari.
Hi guys.
Hi, guys.
I'm just happy that we're all doing this. Thank you, Kim. Zohar, that was really powerful. And just I know Tati would be proud of us. Miss you guys.
I've noticed that I have a very difficult time saying Rabbi Akiva of blessed memory. And I was like asking myself, because more than anything, that's my truth. But then I realized that he's not in memory. He is really part of how I try to grow, what I continuously try to grow into, and is still very much alive in my acts of remembering, which was funny that without coordinating, we all brought down that it wasn't only our memories, but really the reality of aspiring to the teachings. There's teachings from IJKL on YouTube called IJKL Many Paths. And we just continue to do the work. Everyone that I'm seeing here, we are a part of the work. And Rabbi Mark Goldman has done an amazing task of continuing our programming and growing the community, even as I spend more time in LA, in Israel, in Italy. So I'm grateful that we're still connecting together, and look forward to another year of blessing and learning together. And any parting thoughts before? No, I just see smiling faces. And
Sim, let's hear your voice.
I don't know what that means.
I see that Sammy Man is on, and I have such wonderful memories of being his guest. I would love to hear your voice.
Oh, again, it's just so wonderful. My father is very happy that the chevra is getting together. I think that is what he would is shepping nachat from wherever he's looking down or up upon us. He's just happy that everyone's together, and that's really it's significant to us, to the boys, to the family, to see everyone's faces, and to hear his Torah continuing on. And for us, that's a wonderful feeling. And like you said, King, not a memory, but something alive and current right now. So thank you for this wonderful dedication and beautiful words about my father. And I hope to see you all next time you're in Jerusalem. Please come and visit. Please come for another Shabbat.
We'll find you. Rick, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to add, remembering how much he also brought the Hasidic melodies to us. Thank you.
Just very true. That's what we got, friends. And look forward to seeing you in person and in Zoom. And may we all be a blessing in the world, creating a little bit more kindness and a little bit more listening to one another in actual dialogue. Thank you, and Zohar.
I just wanted to say one thing, Kim. Thank you for keeping the light so bright and alive. You're completely part of our mishpacha family circle, and the texts and the random pictures and the random shiurim. It's so appreciated, and the dedication it really is beautiful. And we know you're such a big part of it. So we appreciate you. And I had some technical issues with the Zoom. I couldn't get on. I was having some issues. But Zohar, throughout your entire shiur, your dedication, you couldn't have pinpointed Tati's essence more. It was so beautiful to listen to. So thank you so much. You were spot on.
So this will be posted to YouTube, and we'll be sharing the Zoom, and we'll see you around the community, everybody. Thank you for your love as well. It's what holds us together. Bye now.
Thank you, Zohar. Much love.